Dear students, I am Archana Dikshit from CC Shah Sarvajanik English High School. I welcome you all for the science class for standard 9th. We were discussing the chapter 5 from your textbook, and we had discussed the structure of the cell. Now we are going to discuss the inside of the cell membrane, whichever structures are found. So they are called as cell organelles. You have the idea that cell has cytoplasm and nucleus. Now in the cytoplasm there are little structures which remain floated. These structures are very important for the all chemical activities that takes place by the cell. The cell organelles are important for all chemical activities, as well as they support the complicated structure of the cells of the organisms. We are taking here first of all endoplasmic reticulum. Reticulum means network. So this organelle is found in the cell as a network like. In short, it is written as ER. So it is interconnected network. As you can see here, I have shown the structure. So you can see the network kind of structure. This network is of actually membrane bound tubes, or you can say membrane bound sheets. At some points they remain connected with the cell membrane also. You can refer the structure of the cell. In that also you will find that endoplasmic reticulum at certain points remain connected with the cell membrane or plasma membrane, and it forms a network like structure. This network is of the membrane bound tubes. Now they look like long tubules, or sometimes they look as oblong tubules. Internal structure of is somewhat like plasma membrane. Now endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two kind of endoplasmic reticulum. One is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. The other is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The question is why we are calling them rough or smooth. Rough because granules of ribosomes are found on the tubules of endoplasmic reticulum, then it is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. When the ribosomes are absent on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, then it is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this you understand the structure. Now its functions we will study. Ribosomes are present, then ribosomes actually the site for protein synthesis. That means protein are made in the ribosomes. So this way they help in the making of the protein. Second, smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the manufacture of fat molecules and lipids. Lipids are also one kind of fats only. So this you understand that those which are rough, they have the ribosomes on the surface and they are the site of protein synthesis. That means proteins are made there. In a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, manufacture of fat molecules and lipids take place. You know that lipids and proteins make cell membrane, and this whole process is called membrane biogenesis. So what is membrane biogenesis? If it is asked, you can answer that making of the cell membrane by lipids and proteins, because all the membranes are made up of lipids and proteins only. Apart from the above, that membrane biogenesis, then protein synthesis, then manufacture of fat molecules and lipids, it also helps in intracellular transport. Intracellular means inside the cell also the transportation of the substances that take place, that is called intracellular. Intercellular means between the two cells. Intracellular means inside the cell. Apart from that, the smooth SER, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, helps in detoxification or detoxification also. Detoxification in the liver cells means whichever virus, bacteria are there, they are killed by the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And they give rigidity to the cell so that cell remains in its proper shape. That also function is done by the endoplasmic reticulum. I think it's clear to you. On screen also you can see. Shall we revise it so it will be clear to you that what are the cell organelles? You can answer that little structures which float in the cytoplasm to perform the chemical activities and to support the complicated structure of the cell. Then endoplasmic reticulum, reticulum means network. So it is a connected network of membrane bound tubes. They are mainly two, rough ER and smooth ER. At some places they are connected with the cell membrane. Then about their functions, that ribosomes are the places where protein is formed. Ribosomes are found on rough endoplasmic reticulum as in the form of granules. Smooth this endoplasmic reticulum helps in the manufacture of fat molecules and lipids. Lipids are also one kind of fats. Lipids and proteins form the cell membrane, and this whole process is called membrane biogenesis. Now endoplasmic reticulum helps in the intracellular transport. It also helps in detoxification, means it kills the bacteria or harmful foreign particles. It gives framework to the cell, that means cell remains in its proper shape. Second, we are going to do cell organelle, that is Golgi apparatus. Some call it Golgi also, then also it is correct. Golgi apparatus was first of all described by the scientist I have written, Camillo Golgi. So in honor of the scientist, the name Golgi was given to this cell organelle. It is found in all eukaryotic cells, well developed cells, but they are not found in red blood cells of the animals. Now if you see, then it has flattened bodies which are called sacs, flattened bodies. They are also called vesicles, and they are membranous, form of membrane, and they remain stacked over each other. I will show you the structure. Remember the scientist name, Camillo Golgi. Then flattened sacs called vesicles, Then they are membranous, means membrane bound, and they can be over each other. These stacks are called cisterns. I have drawn here figures so you will understand. See, stacking over each other. They are called cisterns. Now, Golgi apparatus contains what? Cisternae, that you can see, this elongated one. Then cluster of tubules. These are all cluster of tubules only, and vesicles and vacuoles. Vacuoles are round and vesicles are, these are oblong shaped vesicles. So vacuoles, vesicles, these are found. In plant cells, Golgi apparatus freely scattered, it remains freely scattered as subunits. So they are called dictyosomes in plant cells. In animal cells, they are called Golgi apparatus. Let us see the functions. They help in secretion of mucus. For example, mucus is secreted in the mouth also, in the stomach also. And they help in the secretion of hormones, secretion of enzymes. Hormones are important for biological activities in the body, enzymes for digestion. It also works as a storeroom because it stores and packages secretory products. It also helps in the formation of lysosome. Lysosome is also one kind of cell organelle which comprises number of enzymes, and it is single membraned structure. Apart from that, Golgi apparatus or Golgi body, that also complex sugars are formed from the simple sugars as per the requirement. So these are the functions of the Golgi apparatus. You can see the figure. This figure is clear to you. Again, what you have to remember, who described it? Camillo Golgi. It has flattened stacks that you can see. They are called vesicles and they are membranous, stack over each other. Stacks are called the cisterns. 4 you can write here: cisternae, clusters of tubules, vesicles, vacuoles. In plant cells, Golgi apparatus is called dictyosomes. Functions: it helps in secretion of mucus, hormones, enzymes, stores secretory products, helps in the formation of lysosome. Lysosome is again a cell organelle, and sometimes it can also form complex sugar from simple sugars. Next comes lysosome. Lysosomes is a single membraned structure. Till now what you have done, that is endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body or Golgi apparatus, these are double membraned structure. But lysosome is single membraned structure and it has a number of digestive enzymes in it. Actually, it is also called waste disposal of the cell, because whatever bacteria or any harmful foreign particle enters the cells, then it lysosome will digest it and break down into simpler substances. So they actually clean the cell also. They clean the cell, as well as they help in intracellular digestion. As I told you just now, intracellular means inside the cell also the substances should be absorbed. That it does. Now it is also called suicidal bag, because whenever any disturbance takes place in the cell, for example metabolism is disturbed or somehow the cell get damaged, then lysosome will burst and it will digest whole cell. So that is why it is called suicidal bags also. It is very important cell organelle in the cell. Next we have to do, that is mitochondria. Mitochondria is again double membranous structure, and it is also called powerhouse of the cell because it is the site of the some part of respiration. So it produces energy which is stored in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That is the energy currency. Now let us see its structure. Outer membrane is smooth and porous, outer membrane, and inner membrane is given out in the form of folds. As you can see, folds are there like this. Inside the folds are there. These folds are called cristae because cristae only create ATP, adenosine triphosphate, during respiration. Thus ATP is important for making new chemical compounds for the other mechanical work of the body. Now mitochondria has lipids, it has DNA, lipids now you know, fat molecules, DNA, ribosomes, proteins, etc. Thus this cell organelle can make its own proteins. It has the capacity of making its own proteins because see, wherever ribosomes are there, they can manufacture their own proteins. Since ATP currency is formed here, adenosine triphosphate molecules, and they are actually energy giving molecules. That is why mitochondria is called powerhouse of the cell. You can see outer membrane here, porous. So these are the pores. Then you can see inner wall has finger like projections. Many folds are there called cristae. DNA are found here. DNA present. Similarly, ribosomes are there inside, so it can synthesize its own protein. Then last is cell organelle which you have to do, that is plastids. Plastids are also called kitchen of the cell. Remember that plastids are found only in plants. They are not found in animals. One exception can be there. I think Euglena is single-celled organism which has plastid. Means plastid can prepare its food. Otherwise, in animal cells it is absent. It is multi-layered, and again it has its own DNA and ribosomes. That means it can make its own protein. Now in the plastids, inside the plastids, the material is called stroma. Plastids can be of three types: chromoplast, chloroplast, leucoplast. This classification is on the basis of the pigments. Chromoplast contain orange, red, yellow pigments, purple also. So it gives color to flowers and fruits. Like purple color for brinjal, it is anthocyanin kind of pigment which is also found in chromoplast. So chromoplast actually formed of chloroplast or leucoplast only. Now second, chloroplast. This all of you know that it contains green pigment. It has inner material called stroma, as in plastids we have discussed, and membranous system called grana. So each granus is a membranous sac called thylakoids. Thylakoid has chlorophyll. Here I have shown, so you can see this is stroma, this part, and this is grana. And this single here, this is called structure, sac-like structure, which are called thylakoid. Means one granus, one granus. Grana is plural. One granus is called thylakoid, as I have shown here. Leucoplasts are colorless and they store protein, starch and oil, etc. For example, potato has leucoplast, groundnuts have leucoplast. So this way. Then comes vacuoles. Again, vacuoles are found in the plant cell mainly. They have very large vacuole. Plant cells have very large vacuole. Even 50 to 90% of the cell volume there is vacuole only. In animal cell it is very small, or sometimes it may be absent also. Now these vacuoles are not empty. These vacuoles contain fluid called cell sap. Because cell sap is having water, it has amino acids, it has minerals, it has sugars, it has organic acid. Organic acid means acids made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen only. And it has some proteins also. So this you should know that it is not empty, it has so many things. Cell sap is there, which is having all these amino acids, water, minerals, sugars, organic acids, proteins. And their function is to keep the cell into rigid form, turgid form. Proper form is there due to vacuoles. In unicellular organisms, vacuoles help in expel the waste and excess of water, and it also contain food. Then it is called food vacuole, as you have seen in case of amoeba and paramecium. Last thing we are going to do in this chapter, that is cell division. In your textbook, cell division is given in a very primary form. That is what we will discuss. You should have the knowledge only of the cell division. Cell division, as the name indicates, cell divides. Now cell will divide, so definitely new cells will be formed. The question is that why cell division is necessary, so that you can understand. During cell division, new cells are formed, and these new cells are important for growth and development of the organisms. Also, the old cells and the injured cells are replaced by the new cells. This is one aspect of it, and the other aspect is that they also forms sperm and ova for reproduction. Thus they forms the gametes. Gametes, sperm and ova. Sperm is male gamete, ova is a female gamete. So this takes place in plants also, in animals also. In plants they can form pollen grains, and the ovum is formed in plants, and similarly in animals and human beings also. Now cell division is mainly of two types: mitosis cell division, meiosis cell division. In mitosis cell division, one parent cell, that is called one mother cell. One mother cell divides into two daughter cells. This generally takes place for the repair of the cells, for the growth, for the development, for that reason only. And here only one stage is there. One cell divides into two. In case of meiosis, one mother cell divides into four. And here the division is completed in two stages. Meiosis 1, meiosis 2. It is called meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Now what happens? In case of mitosis, number of chromosomes in the mother cell and in the daughter cells remain the same. You know what are chromosomes. Chromatin network, you know, is found in the nucleus. Then during cell division, it becomes prominent chromatids, and then chromosomes are formed out of them. But in case of meiosis, the number of chromosomes become half. Suppose in the mother cell, the chromosomes are 46. Then in the daughter cells, in case of meiosis, there will be 23 chromosomes. So this way they divide into 4 cells. So this is only for your knowledge, for preliminary information. I think it is clear to all of you. Okay, so write the notes, learn it, try to understand, don't mug it up. If any difficulty is there, we can discuss. Okay, children, thank you.